the scream. The stream. Okay. Oh, let me make sure I have all my sound turned off because this would blow my ears out.
You still need to hear me.
Yeah, I need to turn off the sound. I have all my sound turned. Stream checking. But we are live on YouTube and we are live on Steam. Very good.
Are we live on Steam?
Yeah, my broadcast is live.
On our Steam page?
I would hope so.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Or hi Steam page in case and YouTube in case we are actually streaming on you. In case we aren't, we're trying to figure out how to make it.
Yeah, well, technical issues are a regular thing, right?
Oh, look, game streaming right now. There's this game streaming right now. List of things. We need to be at the bottom, somewhere at the bottom, with one spectator or something.
Well, when I go to the store page, it does show up at the very top. So.
Oh, okay. Now I found it as well.
Okay.
It works.
Yeah, Steam is a bit finicky sometimes, but I still like to broadcast there a lot. So I think we're all set up now. I will quickly ping the Discord channel.
And there we are. Okay, cool. In this case, it's almost 10, so officially we haven't started the stream. As Rebecca is doing logistical stuff, if any of you are interested in any kind of chatting about anything, how was our day? How is it to be developers or publishers of a game like Interrogation? We are here to offer you such form of entertainment and socializing. Yes.
Social life, yes, that's a good offer. I can definitely use more of that.
Yes,
Okay.
kind of like socializing. Yeah.
So, some of the people joining us might already know me. I am Rebecca. I have previously talked about both Interrogation and Fowler Sales on this channel, and tried to give you a little insight into Interrogation last time. But now I have support. I don't have to talk to myself. I can talk to Andre, who was kind enough to join me. So,
hey there, everyone.
Yeah, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, sure. I think I can do it myself. Hi there, everyone. I am Andre. I'm the studio lead for Critique Gaming. This is the studio behind Interrogation. So I hope that we will have some entertaining and tensioned time today in this stream. Yes, sneak peek into Interrogation. Just a couple of weeks before launch. Let's see what we can show you.
My mic volume is down. This is troublesome. Let me try to fix that.
Honestly, I think, or I can certainly hear you well.
I will still try to, because Marius and Cookie just said that my mic is really low. I think.
Oh well.
Wait.
In the meantime, everyone, if you want to see, this is the wonderful Critique Gaming office. We have boxes, a radiator because the heating doesn't really work very well, and many other uh, I don't know, objects. We have plenty of objects here in the Critique Gaming office, um, here in Bucharest. Yes, this is where we are.
Oh my god, I can't find the settings because in
Isn't it an OBS setting?
yes it is, but in OBS I actually have it on full blast, so I'm not entirely sure why I'm quiet.
So you're not quiet for me either.
I think it's because we're in the hangout as well. I will
Okay.
turn down the music of the game a bit, and then, which is sad, but I think we can work with it. Yeah.
So you're not quiet. Yeah, maybe just turning down the music of the game would be sufficient. Yes, hopefully. Hopefully.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, you can maybe Cookie or Marius can tell me again, and I will try to find another solution.
Yes,
But
and
for
you could
now,
also perhaps speak louder. This could also be like the analog
I will
solution
absolutely
for this.
scream at you. Yeah.
Very well, very well. Cool.
Okay. Yeah. I will talk a bit louder. But yeah, let's jump into the game.
Yep.
Into a new game because I played before, but we want to show you a little new goodie that I didn't have last time. So let's go. Dun dun dun! The new cutscene, yeah.
Yes. So this is the new intro that we will have littered with these tiny vignettes, and then the game starts with um, a scene from a few years ago at the investigative interview and interrogation techniques course. Um, what I've spoke with Rebecca is that we're going to try to do a little bit of voice acting today. So for this, Rebecca will mostly act as the investigator, the player, and I as the characters. So uh,
So I
Rebecca, you
don't
want to
really
say
have much
something?
to say right now, I guess.
No,
But
no, no. I will start. I will
yeah,
start.
but we will also use the tutorial to kind of explain a bit more about how the interrogations work when these situations arise. Yeah, Cookie, I chose the interrogation challenge, of course, because I have Andre with me. So, and you, all of you. So I think I can do it.
Yeah, I also think we can do it. So, welcome. This will be the first drill session of the investigative interview and interrogation techniques course. We'll be bringing in a subject. They're a trained actor, but should be fully in character for the duration of the interview. I'm considered invisible and inaudible by the actor, but I'll be guiding you along. Before any interrogation, the first thing to do is to consult the subject's file. This should give you vital insight into the case, helping you to identify what information or confession needs to be extracted. So as you can see, and before every interrogation, you can check uh, what the situation is and who are you investigating. In this case, we're investigating an actor, Douglas Bird, that has stolen a bike. Uh, and he kind of had the background in stealing these kind of bikes. He did this before, or like this is the story of it. Obviously, this didn't happen. It's just an actor. It's just a mock, let's say, investigation.
Ooh, and he lives in a rented apartment paid by his parents. So why would
Yeah.
he need to steal?
Yes. Whilst he is also kind of unemployed, so obviously from this we can gather that his parents are giving him some money. And in many moments, it will be useful for the player to read these things carefully so that they do gather this level of insight into kind of how these people are, if they are to be successful in interrogations. Yeah.
Yes. Cookie asks whether there's voice acting planned for the game. No, in the final game there will be no voice acting, but we decided to kind of like play a little bit in the stream. Also, just because reading speed for people is different, right? So if we
Mm-hmm.
just click through it real quick because we're fast readers, it would not be much fun. So
Yeah. Yeah, in the final game, we did some testing with the concept of having voice acting, and we realized it doesn't add, but actually subtracts a bit from the ability of the player to immerse in the story. But we do understand that viewing the game is different from playing the game, so acting in a stream makes much more sense.
yeah, actually, aside from the fact that it saves a bit of money not to have to pay like voice actors, I also personally really like not hearing the people talk and like having the speech bubbles and kind of like it seems a lot like a comic, so I feel like I'm really immersed in in a
Hmm.
comic story where I have to find bad people. So let's see whether I can do it. Bring them in.
So, first thing first, let's try and straight up ask him. You can check the red question every now and then to get a sense of whenever you're close to a confession, whether you're close to a confession.
Let's talk about writing a confession. We both know you did it. Come on.
We don't know nothing. Look, I'm not saying nothing. Nah, too early for that. Let's keep working him.
Hmm. So, why do you steal bikes, Douglas?
Huh? I ain't steal no bikes, Bursef. Right, so that surprisingly didn't work. We need to get the subject in the right state of mind to give us answers. So how do we do that? We have the following tools which we can use to see what state the subject is in. This shows us how open the subject is by looking at pupil dilation corroborated with a few other signals. The wider the pupils are, the more open the subject is. This meter tells us how scared the subject is by measuring pulse as well as other bodily symptoms. The quicker the heart rate, the more scared the subject is. Now you can influence these meters in all sorts of ways, from building a personal connection to exploiting their background, from cornering them up in contradictions to roughing them up. Let's try to build a connection first.
I'm best at this anyways, because last time I tried to be mean, so I will be very kind and nice.
Well, be careful. Some questions will alienate the subject instead of bringing them closer. Other questions will seem disingenuous if they're approached too suddenly. You'll probably want to start off as soft as possible.
Soft as possible, so let's see. Says in your file your forks are loaded. What's the matter? They cut you off? That's... Or you steal for fun? That's not very soft.
And also may not open them up. It's just
Yeah, like asking him like, do your parents not pay for you anymore? Yeah, Yeah, living is expensive. So, I will try this. Hey, living's expensive, I know. I used to crack payphones when I was a teen.
fucking doubt it.
Hmm.
They shake their head in disbelief. Well, he's not buying it yet. Try opening up yourself when questioning the subject. Then try this one again.
You don't believe me that I used to crack payphones when I was young? Would this face lie? You should have that as an answer option. Look at me. Would this face lie?
Yes, with this face, we're gonna keep it in mind, and if we're gonna make a DLC, we're gonna have a "would this face lie" question somewhere.
The Rebecca stupid questions DLC. Okay. Oh, can't believe they have me chasing bikes. Why can't people just lock them up proper?
It's fucking stupid, man. Wasted taxpayers' money and all that.
And we just lost YouTube monetization. Hey!
Oh well. What you gonna do? Okay, good. You seem more authentic. Now get closer to the subject.
Okay, the subject. So, we're talking about the stealing. So I will play my street cred again. But I'll act real tough now. Hey, living's expensive, I know. I used to crack payphones when I was a teen.
Word. That's the...
Cookie loves that cracking payphones is something to brag about. Well, you would be surprised how many people I've heard bragging about tricking cigarette vending machines. There used to be some kind of trick to get cigarettes out of them. So, people do brag about this.
Really? You know there are no cigarette vending machines in Romania.
There are not? Oh, wow.
No. Apparently, they're a Western Europe thing.
Hmm.
Oh, North America as well, maybe. Okay, so now the instructor is telling us how we did well. Okay, we have him opening up some. Good. That is why the meter now shows a wider circle than in the beginning. Now let's see how we could try to scare him. You want to intimidate, but don't jump to big threats right off the bat. Don't be afraid to ask a question more than once. Asking again with a subject in a different state or with new information on the table can yield new results.
So maybe he's ready to write a confession. Let's talk about writing a confession. We both know you did it. Come on.
Nah, only fools confess. I didn't do it.
Yeah, and he's not very nervous, right? Let's see.
We're getting closer, but let's keep working him.
So I have to scare him now. If you don't have a deal and you're found guilty, it's absolutely prison time. But I can only give you a deal if you plead guilty. Nah, that's not very scary. Did the drugs make you do it? Nah. You know how many months you do for bike theft?
Nah. I ain't worried about that.
Ooh, the pulse is telling me something else, I think.
So there are signs of fear. We're onto something.
Hey, you're tough. I'm sure you will do fine in prison.
What? You don't do time for snatching bikes, do you? Look, my dad works for a senator. I'll be fine. Sometimes the talk reveals new information that you can further pursue.
Oh? You think the senator will risk his career for the sake of the bike snatching kid of his? Really?
Probably not shit. Shit. There we go. We're getting there. Now let's put him in a good place to negotiate.
Well, now we can offer him the deal. If we don't have a deal, and you're found guilty, it's absolutely prison time. But I can only give you a deal if you plead guilty.
But like, what would the deal be like?
Ooh, very nervous.
Okay, we've got him. As you can see, his pulse is much faster right now. Now, this is off the record. I want you to know your options. At any time, you can technically stop the recorder tracking your questioning.
Technically.
Oh, it's a technical possibility.
Oops, my finger just slipped and I stopped the recorder.
This will make people suspicious. The public will ask, what happened when the recording was stopped? You'll be accused, but ultimately it's your word against theirs. In the pinch, though, it's something to consider. You have means of enhanced interrogation. I get a subject scared faster than just with words. Try a couple out. The actor will just pretend to be hurt.
I'm sure everyone later on will also just pretend, right?
Yes, and that there will absolutely be no consequences to doing anything.
Absolutely not. Why would that have consequences? Tell it to the great wall of truth. I actually hate this. Say it to my face.
Yeah, well, I don't understand why many players would feel this way. I think it's though important to kind of give in a realistic game all the realistic options and then to showcase all the realistic consequences.
Yeah.
And this is what we're trying to do here.
It's also like I admitted it on stream last time. When I played Interrogation for the first time, I couldn't solve the second case without using violence to get the suspect to confess. So yeah, I think it's very realistic, but I'm still like, oh my god. It hits too close to home, kind of, like, because it's just, I'm so immersed in the story, so yeah. I'm a good cop, I hope. I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he's very closed off.
Yep. Start the recorder again when you're done. Sometimes you'll be interrogating against the clock. When that's the case, keep your eyes on the timer. Sometimes you'll be interrogating more than one person. Switch between rooms and be sure to cross-reference the info they give you. Anyway, you'll get to keep your manual after you finish the academy. It's great for refreshing your memory about what you learned today.
Excited? I get to ask the right question?
Yes. When you're ready to get the confession, you can ask the accusation question.
Let's talk about writing a confession. We both know you did it. Come on.
Yeah, sorry. What? No. What would like that involve though? We've almost got him. You just have to press in the right way. There are ways in which you press an open subject, and other ways in which you press a terrified subject like this one.
Well, I think empathy is probably not the way to go here. I'll answer your question in a second when we're done with this case, Cookie. Listen, you lowlife! Sign this damn confession right now! And maybe I can keep your dumb ass out of jail.
Fuck, man. Fuck. Shit. Okay. All right. I'll sign. Whatever. Mission
Yay, I did
accomplished.
it! So, Cookie just asked whether it's even possible to play through the game without being violent, or whether it's a secret. Um, so, I don't know. Andre, do you want to answer?
Um, so as I said, we try to be realistic in real life. Usually there are most of the times non-physical violent options. However, as I said, we try to showcase in this game the moments when you are kind of tempted to have ethical breaches. What are the short-term consequences, the long-term consequences to everything? I guess this answers the question.
So, do we keep it secret whether it's possible to play without violence?
So it is technically possible, yes.
But it's harder, I guess, right? Because doing the right thing in real life is not always super simple.
So it's harder in some ways and easier in other ways. There are some difficulties that you have to face in the real world when you breach ethical and also legal boundaries. Other difficulties you don't have to face. So, as I said, we're not necessarily trying here to make I don't know a partisan statement, but just to showcase how the reality looks like.
Okay, so let's report our findings for the moment. And we finished Police Academy.
Yeah.
Cookie was just thinking if you wanted to be a super angel cop who does everything by the book, could you? That's all. I
Uh,
sure hope so, because we want to be a super angel cop.
uh, so you will see. You will see. We're not really revealing everything about the game. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
this
this.
is fan. Yeah. No, sorry. Say what you want to say.
Yeah, so this first interrogation is the police academy is quite obviously the tutorial, right? You learn uh, everything about the game and kind of get introduced to the system. And it's I think it's really important to like look at the interrogation system um, because it's not a traditional dialogue system. So like normally when you get a dialogue tree and you have like three options, okay, yeah, of course you click everything. But even in the tutorial, it's not just like clicking everything without thinking and just like going from top to bottom. It's a bit different here. And also you have to sometimes ask things multiple times. Like the red question, I asked that multiple times, which is also not very usual, I think. It's very different from other games.
Yes. So, as in kind of real kind of conversations, sometimes kind of coming back to a topic that you already discussed is the right thing to do. Maybe people now have kind of feel differently about you and want to share more. Similarly, coming back to a previous topic, once you know more things, may also uh, yield kind of different results. Um, and yeah, sometimes some things are just a bad idea to say, be it because of kind of the conversational strategy you're employing, or they're straight up a bad idea to say to that person. And we want to kind of have players have to think what they are asking. So we give them all choices. Here, have all the choices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that you can try different approaches. I've seen people play like the first case that we are coming up to now. at events so many times, and like sometimes I stood behind him and I was like, how did they get him so scared, or like how did they even reach this? Because they would just like come across dialogue that I hadn't seen because I never asked these specific
Yeah.
questions. So yeah. As
Yeah.
you can tell, I'm like shamelessly praising Interrogation, but I'm also just super
Hmm.
happy to get to work on this game as a producer. Like, I have nothing to do with the quality myself, I always say. Like, it's all Andre and Critique Gaming, the team, working super hard. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, actually, on this topic of kind of finding out new stuff, there will be many, many kind of conversations that you can't even have if you just have one playthrough. Many different types of conversations that you, if you have them, they influence what happens in the game later on. So, will be all sorts of little gems for people to
Ooh,
find littered all over the place.
more secrets.
Yeah.
Okay, should we continue? I think
Yeah.
I might pick Chief Anderson in this case, so I will like because there's more characters here, and I don't think my I am saying a lot in this scene. So, or do you want to take everyone?
No, I think you can take Chief Anderson. Well,
Oh no, I need my glasses. I can't put them like that. Hey, I need you to come in on a case. Fisher's brought in a set of guys. They are in the interrogation rooms.
hey,
We have the Wick's husband, the only witness, the robot that broke in. We need your questioning magic in there. A confession, because all we have is circumstantial. You in? So,
yeah, let's go for fine, fine.
okay, fine. So the story is this Cox broke in, armed with a low-cal piece, holding this Peterson up and tying him to a chair. Wife comes in, jumps for the phone. Cox drops her with 2 shots to the back before bolting. We have the gun, no prints.
This Peterson was as cool as a cucumber. His wife's body just lying there in the other room. Managed to track down and also grab Cox. Street contacts helped.
But we still don't have a clear picture of the murder. Check out the files, grill them cross-examination. Get me a confession. You have this. Yes, we got this. We got this.
Yeah. So you kind of heard already what's the story here. It was this murder. Heather Peterson was murdered. And Daryl Peterson was found tied to a chair. Claims the burglar broke in, killed his wife. The the gun was found, however, and there is obvious evidence of the burglary. So Jerry Munch Cox, that was tracked down and apprehended, has already even confessed to the burglary, but he says that he didn't kill anyone. And Munch, he is kind of a a regular kind of poor person brought into crime by his kind of disenfranchised position. He has no employment. He went to prison before for petty theft, but he has never done any violent crime in the past.
And here we have the husband.
Yes, and this is Daryl Peterson, a regular individual. He was suspiciously detached and composed when the police came.
So we have like a thug from the streets with a history of crime versus like the husband, nice and clean in a suit, but suspiciously calm. So let's see. bring them in. So should we start with Munch or should we start with the husband?
I don't know. You're playing the game. S-
I
Try
have to make
to.
choices. Oh no.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so right now it's still paused, which I really like because you can ask them anything. Like
Yeah.
I,
So
yeah,
the first episode, this first interrogation is not a timed one. It's one in which the player has all the time in the world to a certain extent start experimenting with the dialogue system and kind of get into the story. But in the future, there will be ones in which there's more of a time pressure. It's more tensionate.
I've seen a lot of people run out of time, and I've also run out of time myself. So yeah, it's not easy, especially if you like to talk to them. Like, oh, so how's life? How are the kids? So okay, but let's start with that. Let's talk about yourself, Mr. Cox.
No need to Mr. Me around, Chief. You can just call me Munch.
Okay, Munch. Are you from the city?
Born and raised in this piss hole, yeah. Like to think of it now, you know?
So I'm going for the good cop thing again because I can't bear like being mean to, especially to Munch. I don't know. I kind of like him. So I will try to like make the go for the empathetic open route and hope that his pupils will dilate. So, do you have friends or family?
Look, don't you drag him into this, but I got a cousin. He's probably worried about me.
Well, tracking him down would not be very nice, so very well. If you write down his phone number or address, we'll make sure he knows you're safe.
Thanks, Chief. But I just rather he didn't get into trouble looking for me. Like just leave him out of this, okay?
So, this is not your first crime, is it?
Why you wanna send me to prison for the old ones again?
So it seems that Munch is a bit used to like being in this situation. He's very relaxed. So, yeah, what made you turn to crime, Munch? What happened?
What you want, Chief? A sob story? It's pretty fucking easy. I wanted to eat. I didn't have food. Others had food. Or TVs that you can sell for food.
I like that you inserted another word there. It's a good thing that. Oh wow, this might be a great timing to mention that this game is also like not for kids, as you can probably tell. And it's a good thing that we're
No.
live and hopefully
Yes.
YouTube will not
Yeah.
be
And
mad.
yeah, people, especially in tension situations, they do swear. It's natural.
Oh yes.
So they didn't want to leave it out of the game and to kind of sugarcoat everything and to making a world of crime and tension and psychological manipulation be all nice and sweet. Just not the kind of game we're going for.
Actually, I read once that people who curse a lot are more honest because they just like say what's on their mind. And I'm like, yeah, I curse a lot, so hopefully that says something good about me. Because it'd be a fucking shame if not. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's see. Well, he stole in the past. You've already been convicted once and did your time. Why do it again?
I was put in the box for car theft, Chief. I, I didn't do it again, so I don't know what you're talking about.
So, yeah, this one would probably also build up a lot more pressure, so I will kind of go nice. I understand your difficulties, but a woman was murdered this time. Help me get to the bottom of this.
Sure, I'll help you. I didn't do it. Case closed.
Okay, well, I guess we're done then. So I hope you enjoyed the game. um,
Munch called it. Case closed.
yeah, we're finished. So yeah, thank you for joining. No, let's see. So this is why you should have stayed in school. Hmm. Yeah, let's ask him whether he's been part of a criminal group. This could change things. So, are you or have you been part of a criminal group or gang?
What? Of course not. Gangers are a dangerous bunch to be around. Just not my cup of tea.
Hmm. We'll come back to this later.
I'm sure we will.
I like how resigned he is. He's like, yeah, I'm sure. Get me out of here.
Oh, he's been
So,
through this before.
yeah, probably like once or twice with car theft and what was it? It's a really nice record. Car theft, pickpocketing, burglary, and credit card fraud. So like just a really nice assortment of talents here.
Yes. Well, but all of them to be like quite specifically about making money.
Yeah, that's right. And also everything is non-violent, right? Like a burglary is also burglary is maybe like threatening people, but
I know burglary is
oh no, it's breaking into a
breaking
house,
and
right?
entering. Yeah, breaking and entering and stealing objects.
I was thinking about a
M-
mugging, yeah.
yeah, a
So
mugging is
everything
violent.
he did is non-violent. So basically, no one got hurt except the credit card owners and the car
Yeah,
owners.
yeah. Nothing, just their finances.
So let's see. Let's talk about the burglary.
I don't get what all the fuss about it is. It ain't like I got much out of it.
So what did you take?
Uh, First thing I could lay my hands on, threw it in the bag. Didn't notice until there. Had a couple of small bushes or trees or something. Look, I'll give you one if we can wrap this up.
I would actually love this because uh, bonsai are actually super expensive. So it's not even the worst
Yeah,
thing to steal. Like,
yeah, but Munch doesn't know it, does he? He's
yeah. But I would actually take one. Okay, so let's see. Why did you choose this specific house?
there wasn't anything special about it. It had the fire escape ladder, the open window, no lights on.
No lights on. Hmm. So the fire escape ladder was already down?
Yeah, it was. Like, do I look like a circus acrobat to you?
Well, I don't know what you're hiding under this jacket. And what did you use to break the window?
What? I didn't break no window. It was wide open. Look, your tricks don't work on me, Chief. I'm too smart for that.
We'll get back to this later. Let's see.
Sure we will.
So were you aware that there were people inside?
How could I know about that? I don't have cameras in people's toilets like you boys do.
Ah, you got me there. You got me there. Then why take the risk if you didn't know if people were inside?
Yeah. Why? I wouldn't. I didn't do it.
Munch is making a really good case for himself here, so... But they were home. Did you see them?
Look, I bolted back down the ladder before I could see anyone.
Okay, so we know this is not true, because he offered to give me a bonsai tree before. So, I will call a lie here. Munch, we know you stole things. You didn't just run away. Come on, work with me here.
Oh, shit. Yeah, fine. The bedroom was empty, so I jumped in.
Aha. So now we have new information that I can use. If they weren't in the bedroom, then why? When did you notice them? Oh my god, sorry.
After I jumped in, I heard voices inside the apartment somewhere. Sounded like they were fighting or something.
Did you hear what they were fighting about?
What do you think I am, man? The CIA? You tell me what they were fighting about. I got my ass out of there as soon as I noticed somebody was in the house.
So they were fighting inside with the lights off. This is an interesting situation, certainly. So let's go back. Yeah, let's talk about the murder of Mrs. Peterson. It's why we're here after all.
Man, as I told the officer that arrested me, I know nothing about that.
So... the gun that shot Mrs. Peterson was found near the fire escape ladder that you used.
Someone must have dropped it or something. Well, I told you, I know nothing about the murder.
How can I know the gun is not yours?
I don't know, man. Like, what about the whole innocent until proven guilty thing?
Ah, rules. Who cares about rules? So... have you ever owned a gun?
I don't touch him, Chief.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm also doing really bad at like trying to get him to open up. He's a bit more nervous than in the beginning. So I'm not a good cop. Not a super angel cop. So I need maybe someone to help me out in the chat and like tell me what to do. So let's try to be super nice. Okay, so it's not illegal to own a weapon is nice. Don't you own one for self-defense? Yeah, this is kind of like, wouldn't a gun be useful? Is mean. So I'll try to be very understanding. It's not illegal to own a weapon, Munch. It's fine if you tell me. It will help your story too.
Shit, I know it ain't illegal, and my story doesn't need helping, because it's true. I don't touch guns. They're trouble.
So let's change the topic. Well, that's actually curious. We found the husband tied down. He claims you did that.
What? That lying shit lump. Do you think I carry rope around just in case? Nah, man, I'm not into that shibari stuff.
I like that he doesn't know that bonsai are expensive, but knows shibari. I'm like, Munch.
Well,
I know what you're doing in your free time.
He goes around the internet like everyone does.
Cookie is trying to help, like, his heart rate is up. Yes, I know it's up, and I'm very sorry. Like, I'm trying to be nice, and like, he's getting more and more nervous because I'm like... it seems I'm better at making him nervous today. So... did you feel threatened by the couple in any way, Munch?
Well, look, I'm sure they're nice people. I haven't seen them, spoken to them, or even sent them a text. Look, it's just a long way of saying no.
And he's super closed off. Yeah, I think I can like throw the angel cop out of the window by now. Yeah. Let's see how this turns out. Oh, Marius, another developer who's joining us in the chat, just shared a fun fact about improv. Most of the actors in the game are from the local improv community. Which is also like really, really fun for me because all of these people are real and I saw everyone in the game first. So like when Marius shared a behind the scenes picture, I was like, there's this character from the game in color. Like, just sitting there. This is very strange.
Yeah, and many of them don't look exactly like this in real life. Like we had kind of not necessarily we've dressed up people so that they resemble the characters more. We made sure to select like for them to do gestures that are more rather intrinsic to the character than to them as individuals. Um, Even in the drawing patterns, we adjusted more towards the character than towards the original human. So they're not kind of exactly the same people, but yeah, you can recognize them if they're still. It's still visible who the actors were.
Cookie just asked, are the names random then? Well, I think is the question whether the names are chosen from the actor or whether the name is from the character in the game.
The names of the characters are not random, and they're not the names of the actors. They are names of the characters. Like in most kind of pieces of fiction, the name of the character is different from the name of the actor. And they're not randomized or anything. They are fixed names because in many ways they do show names show things about people. They show heritage, for example, um, and they're all chosen quite carefully.
I like it when like I saw a thread about names and like sometimes people just go like, okay, well I need a name for this evil guy. What's the word for evil in Latin? It's like, yeah, well maybe not super subtle there.
Yeah, we actually have internally like this huge file called all the names, all the characters, which is like this huge Excel with all the names, their heritage, reasons for why we chose them, discussions about the characters' backgrounds and kind of who they are, like short descriptions, so that we can keep track of everything. Because you would always hear around the office things like, "Yo, what was the name of the porn producer? What was the name of that guy?" And like sometimes it's hard to remember exactly how everyone is named, so we made this huge file.
So did you spend a lot of time on like baby name websites?
No, not necessarily. More rather on things like Armenian name or things like that, so that we find things that sound in a particular way.
Yeah, because when like I tried to back at university when I tried to like name characters for a game, I was just like name suggestions and it came up with like
Yeah,
loads of baby name websites and I was like,
yeah.
some of them were pretty good because they also gave like the background for the names and
Mm-hmm.
you could filter and then afterwards Amazon decided that if I'm looking at baby names I must be super interested in buying baby products and I'm like, nope, not quite.
Yep,
um,
that's how social media works nowadays.
yeah, it's terrible. I just want to name my game characters, not my baby. So,
Yeah,
okay, let's continue with this game a little bit. Yeah,
I
Roman said previously that he hadn't seen them, so it makes sense that he didn't feel threatened by them. So I kind of messed up there. It's a double question. You wanted to say something?
no,
Okay.
nothing.
So let's come back to this later because I kind of asked a lot. And I think we have a lot of information from Munch now, so I will switch now. So he can calm down a bit again. And I will switch to Daryl Peterson. So Yeah, let's talk a bit about yourself, Daryl.
I don't know if this is the best time to get acquainted, but ask away.
I remember last time when I was trying to be mean, like actively trying to be mean, I got so angry at him because he just like always smart mouthed me, and I was like, if you say one more thing, I will turn off this recording. Okay, so let's see. Um, yeah, the first few hours must be hard. How are you handling the loss?
We have to move on, don't we?
That's a very calm reaction for like seeing your wife get shot in front of your eyes while you can't do anything. Yeah, we have to move on. We are doing the best we can to make sure the culprit will be put behind bars, but I need your help with that. To do that.
That is good to hear. Thank you. I hope I can help.
So, have you taken leave from work to deal with this?
Ah, there's no need for that. They fired me months ago.
Cookie has the same opinion as I do. Like, his wife died, right? He's already moving on. Needs to rethink marriage, I think. Yeah, same. Like, he's like, oh wow, what just happened? But we need to move on, right? Continue with our life. Daryl. So, they fired him. Why did you get fired, Mr. Peterson?
I worked there for 6 years, but the boss wanted to hire cheaper labor. You know how these big corporations are. Soulless. A lot of them.
The job hunt must be frustrating. I hope you find one soon.
Yes, it was. I despise all that ass kissing and self boasting. Now everyone understands.
But I understand. The super angel cop, I understand. So your wife was the primary earner.
Well, yes, if you want to put it like that. She was quite proud of it too. Rubbed it in my face with each opportunity she had.
Ah, that seems very mean. So, oh yeah, let's kind of like go in a little bit more. So you and your wife argued often, and she blamed you for getting fired?
Yes, she was relentless about it. Mostly blamed me for it. Wouldn't believe me that my boss was a bastard, that he had it in for me. Women like her always think they know everything.
These women earning the
Yeah.
money and like expecting their husbands to get a job again.
Yeah.
So I assume you were fighting on the night of the break. You were fighting over this on the night of the break-in as well, right?
Actually, yes. That's what started that night as well. Was a common thing for us.
So because I'm trying to be nice, I will go for like the empathetic option. It must have been so frustrating for you. Her constant pestering.
Yeah, I guess it was. I just had enough, you know? You've been with someone for 7 years, you expect some respect by that point, some consideration. But no! She could be such a shrew sometimes, I'm telling you.
Oh Oh my god, uh, I can accuse him of hating her. I'm trying to be nice, so I will remember this and maybe come back later to this. So
Yeah, and this entire kind of conversation, you had now because you got two important pieces of information. A, from him that there were some problems in his marriage because of him losing his job, and B, from Munch that they were fighting that night. And because you now had these two things, you could that this conversation was possible. Without them, he wouldn't kind of reveal as much. So part of the gameplay is, to a certain extent, trying to also uh, figure out what information to use to kind of push them. It's not only about trying to be nice or trying to be mean, but also kind of figuring out what kind of particular pieces of information may be important for these individuals.
So Cookie said that I should do it. I should accuse him of hating his wife. So let's do it.
Well, go back there and
So
accuse him.
oh wait, that wasn't
It was
it.
in the so you and your wife argued often.
Yes. No, wait. Not in. Did I miss out now? No.
Also, yeah, sometimes you can't come back to some conversations. As in real life, there are things you can come
Yeah.
back to and things that people may just not want you to come back to them.
Well, Cookie, you have to try it out yourself. I'm sorry. But so let's let's ask about the incident timeline. So maybe we can find out some more about this because we also have info from Munch about this.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Well, did you hear the burglar coming into the house?
No, not really. We were arguing quite loudly.
Which makes even less sense that he would seriously come in, because if he of course he heard them and ran away. So when
Well,
and
that's
where? Sorry.
Munch's story is that he came in, was in the bedroom, and when he heard them being loud, he ran away.
No.
Peterson's story is that he entered and tried to mug them. We don't know which one is true.
Yeah. So let's see. When and where did you first see Munch?
When he entered the living room.
Okay. So we have a discrepancy here again. Like Munch said, he left before entering any other room than the bedroom. So
Yeah, that. This is the primary place where the two stories diverge. Both of them agree that Munch entered the bedroom. They just disagree whether Munch also entered the living room.
so let's see. Where were you and your wife when you first saw him?
We were in the living room. Look, is this relevant to the investigation?
I'm just asking for fun. Okay, so at what point did the burglar pull out his gun?
He had his gun when he burst in.
So how did you react when you saw the gun?
I put my hands up, of course. I told him that he could take whatever he wanted, as long as he did not hurt us.
Cookie is raising some very interesting questions here as well, because Cookie's asking, do we know the size of the house? If we heard them from upstairs in the bedroom, that argument was loud. So, but because Munch mentioned the window being open and the fire escape ladder being down, I think we're talking about an apartment here. We can also check the file to see, I guess. Is it a house or an apartment building? Does it say that?
It does not,
But
and
I think Munch implied it heavily.
so there's obviously a fire escape. So if it has a fire escape, it means that it's a taller building than just a house.
Yeah, so I would think it's an apartment, so probably like two, three, four rooms. So
Yeah,
you can hear a fight in the next room.
yeah,
Okay,
but you
so
can't hear it from downstairs.
yes,
That's all
definitely
it
not. Well, except if they're super mega loud, yeah.
is. Yeah.
Okay, so he put his hands up. So well, let's confront him a bit, right? Cookie just said note to self, remember details. Yes, it's always good to remember the details. But you can look at the file as well because I also sometimes like to check. Um, okay, Munch claims he does not own a gun, and there is no evidence tying one to him.
Well, he's clearly lying. Or perhaps he stole mine. I keep it in the bedroom.
So he has a gun. Hmm. That was not mentioned in the file that our Mr. Clean-shaven husband in a suit has a gun. So, did you provoke him in any way? Threaten him somehow?
Look, bastards like him are the reason I keep a gun. They deserve a bullet in the head, nothing less. But I did not threaten him in any way.
So, let's go back a bit. You said you own a gun. You are not registered as a gun owner.
So, again, this is a yellow question that appeared because we found out some new information. And sometimes these open up right in the middle of the kind of topic that you were already discussing. But sometimes they are about a different topic, and obviously like in a real conversation you kind of need to first of all segue back into that one to be able to kind of use this new information that you found out. So that's kind of how we structure it in the game as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you are not registered as a gun owner, Mr. Peterson.
Well, the state's legislation doesn't say I need to register. I bought it at the gun fairs anyway. What about it?
Why didn't you try to use the gun in self-defense?
I couldn't reach it in time. I was even I was even waiting for an opportunity to test my aim on filth like him.
So you were prepared for such an event?
Of course I was. The way things are going on in the city, everyone should be prepared. You're an officer. You know how dangerous the streets have become. All the crackheads, the crazy hobos. You need to be ready.
I understand your concerns, but most people don't have the stomach to shoot, even in self-defense. Do you think you would have been able to?
Yes. When the system doesn't protect you, you have to do it yourself. If we had an armed neighborhood watch, filth like that burglar wouldn't have dared to step on our streets.
Not such a nice and clean and regular husband anymore, our little dear Mr. Devil Peterson.
No, he obviously has a lot of kind of frustration bottled up about many things.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Cookie asked whether it's possible that any yellow lines would become unavailable if you choose to go back and not use them. Well, it kind of just happened to me because I did not accuse him of hating his wife when we were talking about it, and I went back. And like when you said
So,
I should ask him, I couldn't reach that point in the conversation anymore because
yeah.
the moment had kind of passed, right?
So yeah, we always tread a fine line when we wrote interrogation. We also threaded a fine line between having conversations be as natural as possible, whilst also having kind of what you may call predictable gameplay that kind of follows some conventions and strict rules. So most of the time, you will be able to go back and ask any question later on. Uh, but there are certain moments when topics close up completely. Uh, we keep those, however, to be more rather rare. So usually you can go back to any topic. There only when there's a good kind of narrative reason for it. We close off access to particular topics.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
actually a bit bummed that I couldn't accuse him of lying in the end, but it makes sense when I said, like, okay, well, let's ask about something else. And I miss my moment, I miss my chance. It absolutely makes sense. I can't ask
Yeah.
anymore. And Cookie just said, I need to stop asking questions that give away gameplay. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, it's only natural. And we're here to kind of showcase the game. We won't tell you that in the
Yeah.
end, like, the ship will hit an iceberg and it will sink to the bottom of the ocean. We won't tell you that. So, it's
No.
still a surprise when that happens in the game.
Yeah. No, but we are here to a certain extent to kind of present kind of the creative decisions that we took and how what you can expect from the game, and to chat about any kind of difficulties or challenges that we had in development. I guess this is, I think this is to a certain extent the best thing you can do about kind of streams of the developers and publishers, as opposed to other people streaming the game.
Yeah, and we're here to answer questions. And Cookie, because you're saying we can choose not to answer, of course. Like, if we think if it's something we want to keep up to ourselves or that would ruin a surprise for you, we will not mention it. Of course,
Yeah,
because it's super important to us as well that people discover the game on their own, right? You will still discover new stuff in this first case, even as we're playing it now, because you will play it differently. And as I mentioned, like, even at events, I've seen like this exact case endless times, and I still sometimes think, have I seen this before? So yeah, but we won't spoil anything
yeah,
that we don't want to spoil. But some little hints are interesting, right? So, like a little Mr. Peterson here gave us the hint that he might not be as innocent, maybe, or as uh, but I don't know, yeah, he has quite harsh views, so let's talk a bit about this. Do you really think this burglar deserves to die?
let me just. Hell yes. With some people, there's no alternative. You have to take things into your own hands and get tough. Only way this world will ever be a better place is if honest people stand up with force if necessary.
Vigilante justice. You think that's the solution?
There's so much filth out there, and the system that's supposed to clean it is just as dirty. If honest people like you and me don't take action, the filth will drown us all. It is the only solution.
Just you and me. That won't change much, don't you think?
There's many of us out there who think like this. We found each other online, like-minded people, willing to take up the responsibility to do the right thing.
We? What are you talking about? A political platform?
No, no, no. Politics is their game. If we play by their rules, we lose because it's a rigged game. We need to short circuit the whole system, shake up the entire establishment.
That takes a coordinated effort, though. How will that happen?
There's this group I was talking about. We mostly meet online, forums, boards, chat rooms. It's a great tool to organize ourselves, to plan things out.
By chat rooms, you mean chat rooms like our lovely Discord server when you can talk to me and Andre all the time?
Well,
Um,
yes, of course. Watch out the release of Interrogation, December 5th.
on Steam, GOG, and Humble.
Yes.
I should like make signs like that I can hold up, kind of like a pop-up ad. So what sort of plans are you talking about?
I don't know for sure. I don't have the rights to the chat room where things are organized, but it will certainly be big.
Why don't you have access to the chat room?
You need to show some commitment beforehand and to be part of the group for a while. As for access, sure I'll get it soon.
Who has access then?
The chat rooms are anonymous, of course. We know each other by our IDs. Mostly veterans, people that have been involved for a long time. They assign a mentor to new people. Mine is Horn Bunny 49. Still a name, I know.
What needs to be discussed in such secrecy?
I don't know for sure. It's the place where they assign actual tasks and set up meetings. Things are picking up recently. It's all very exciting to be part of the Liberation Front.
The Liberation Front. That's the group's name.
No one voted on it or anything. It's just what we call it.
I've heard enough. So,
Yeah, and the thing that always players must remember is that as much as you talk to them, these people they don't wanna kind of work with you. So you need to push them. Like as even if you we've made kind of the red question be red, exactly because people many times had a natural aversion, especially if they were playing as Rebecca's playing now, kind of a good cop, to try to push people. But if you look at actual interrogation techniques, at tapes of how the police actually work, even if they're playing, even if they are trying to be empathetic, they're still constantly pushing you. From time to time, they try to push you again towards what they want from you. So we made the red question there be read, especially so that we remind people that they can many times just try to ask it and try to push them, see if this time it works.
well, we do have a lot of info. We know that, like, he and Munch disagree about what exactly happened, and I'm inclined to believe Munch when he says, like, he heard people fighting and he left. It does make sense. Um, Especially considering that he's been non-violent in the past. And we know that Peterson was fighting with his wife on the evening, was fighting with his wife quite regularly, and he owned a gun. So maybe we even have enough. So let's see. Let's push him. Daryl, honestly, who killed your wife?
What do you mean? That damn burglar? Who do you think killed her?
To me, it's clear you have no love for your wife. You resent her. I would go so far as to say you hate her.
She. I did hate her. Yes, I hated her arrogance. I hated her friends. I hated her fucking bonsai trees. I hated the disrespect she had for me. But that doesn't mean I would ever hurt her.
He hates the bonsai trees. Well, Munch took him,
Well,
so they're gone now.
well, yeah.
And even more, that night you had an argument, and you also saw a huge opportunity to blame the murder on the burglar you spotted coming in. Is that right?
What? How? I mean,
Okay, so he's made it quite clear that he sees violence as a solution. Yes. Cookie, you wanted to threaten him, so I will be a bit meaner to him now. Listen, Peterson, I have you on record saying you hated your wife and that you planned very dangerous activities online. If you don't confess, I'll make sure you are convicted for terrorist intent and you rot in prison for the rest of your miserable life.
is that your idea of justice? I admit, I killed her. She had it coming, as do many others, such as you and the corrupt system that puts people like you in positions of power. Your time will come.
Let's report our findings.
Yeah.
You, yay, Cookie called me Angel Cop. Maybe not quite an angel, but fair enough. A nice cop.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Uh,
we were successful.
yeah. And here we a new feature that we have only kind of well in my kind of head in the timeline of development. It's recent, though it's been here for a few months. Is this transcript option that we offer with a little cassette tape. So players can at any point try to kind of not at any point after each of these they can see how their conversation went, and we've kind of made this as a tool for people to figure out what went well and what didn't go so well, and try to learn a bit from their own kind of past mistakes. This doesn't necessarily mean we're telling them this was right, this was wrong, because that would be kind of outside of the show don't tell way of designing this. But we do give players the tools to figure out things for themselves. Yeah.
And it also shows how much time I spent. Let's see.
It doesn't necessarily, so it doesn't show real time. This took much longer than a few minutes. It shows kind of in the game's narrative how much time it went. But in the game's narrative, every question takes 5 seconds. We're mostly doing this for the timed interrogation so that they're predictable. I know that in real life some things last a bit longer than others, but this needs to also be a predictable game. So we kind of made an approximation of 5 seconds.
Yeah, and it's also, I think it makes a lot of sense for like these settings where you might want to talk to people while playing, and also maybe slow readers, because I read okay, but sometimes I read something and I go like, what? I already forgot what I just read. So,
Yes,
yeah.
it happens often.
Yes.
Okay, I
So,
propose that we also showcase a bit the press release mechanic,
should we?
and
Or should we save that for next week?
but well, we have many other things. I don't know.
Mm.
Uh, it's it is a decision. Chat, do you want to see the press release, or should we save it for later?
I kinda want to save it for later, maybe.
Okay, this is what we shall do.
The angel
Okay,
cop has decided and has
yeah,
ruled over the chat,
awesome.
because I am the
Uh,
authority here.
well, you are playing the game, aren't you?
That's right. I'm not clicking this button. I'm not touching it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. In this case, I guess this was it for today.
Yeah. We got quite far, and yeah, as Andre already spoiled a little bit for next week, we have a press release to write in the game, and we'll also see some new features that we like haven't seen before yet. So we will further explore the game and see what's waiting for us. So any final questions? Ask them now. or oh my god, I don't know these marriage vow things in English, but like be silent until next week, I guess. Or join our Discord to chat to us and ask them anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, also, like, if you want to help us, you can go to Steam or GOG or Humble and wishlist the game, because it actually does help us a lot. It has a lot of impact, and you can talk to your friends about it and tell everyone that you know this amazing game that's coming out on December 5th, so less than a month, um, because it really does make a difference.
Yep. Yep. It does. It does.
So, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Andre, for taking the time, because in Romania it's really late right now. For me as well, a bit, but Romania is even further ahead in the future.
Yes.
So,
Can you imagine people in Japan how far ahead in the future they are? It's already tomorrow.
yeah, it's like that's very strange to think about. I shouldn't think about it too hard. Time zones are
Yeah.
terrible. But yeah, so
Yes. Cool.
yeah, it's really
Yeah,
late.
it was nice joining you on the stream. It was fun for me.
Yeah,
We'll do it some other time as well.
yeah, we'll be right here again on this on YouTube on the Steam page. This time, well, not this time because we're done now, but 9 p.m. CET uh, next week on Thursday. Every week.
Every
So
week.
yeah, we'll have a lot of stuff to show. So
Yep, we do. Okay,
bye
cool.
bye.
See ya. Bye bye.